Hi, this is Jake from Optimus Futures, and in this video, I'll be showing you how to create alarms and alerts for multiple triggers on the QST trading platform. So now what I mean by multiple triggers is there is multiple ways to set up an alarm. You can do so based off of triggering price events, volume. There's a couple different ways to customize them. First, let's go ahead and look at how to actually create an alarm. Up front, the easiest way to probably access the alarms customization menu is just going through the general tab in the top left-hand corner and then clicking on alarms. When you click on alarms, you'll notice the alarm window will open up and it should be blank. From here, you can add an alarm in the bottom left. And then as you can see, there are a couple different other features down at the bottom here. You can remove alarms, edit alarms, enable all boxes, disable all boxes, emails, and then of course close out the window. Now of course these buttons don't help us too much because we don't actually have an alarm yet, so let's go ahead and start with the alarm. So now, as I mentioned before, there's a couple different ways that alarms are triggered, and like I mentioned, you could do so off of volume, trade size, and time. So first up, we'll need to select a message for ourselves. We can just say, let's say for example we're working with the E-mini S&P 500. We can name this EM volume alert. So based off of that, we'll first select volume because of course we are using ES volume. Now for contract, like I said, we're going to use the ES. We can just manually type that in there. If you're not familiar with a contract symbol route that you'd like to use, you can click this arrow right here and use a futures lookup window. You can sort by the type of futures, the type of exchange, whether it's futures, options, strategies, month, year, and then of course you can search here. Then there's multiple filters to sort through. We know what we're using, so again, ES, we're going to trade the September version, so we'll just enter that in there. As you may have saw before, if you just type it in, it will automatically autofill, so you can just double click that contract there, and then it'll automatically add that. So now here's where the triggers start to come into place. So as you can see, we have the option to trigger when volume is, and then we'll need to select a stipulation here. So you have greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Depending on your personal preference, you'll want to select one of these. We can say equal to. And then of course, this number is always going to change and the market's always moving and so is the volume. So this is really just a number that you'll need to create for yourself. I'm going to just choose a random number here. It's not exactly accurate. We can just say 20. Obviously, there's probably going to be more than 20 of volume in the market at one time. This is just an example. Now, from here, we can select the monitor for each if we want to have different time intervals. So every minute it is monitoring the volume, and whether that's equal to or again greater than or equal to, you can have those alarms monitor that volume and you can have it set to different time intervals there. Now, of course, this also plays into effect right here. You can see trigger. If you have it repeatedly, of course, it's going to repeatedly alert you until you close out that alarm. Again, if you have this monitor for each, it's going to monitor every 1, 2, 3 minutes, whatever you choose here. And then, of course, this works in tandem with repeatedly, or you can just use the once if you're going to use monitor for each, and it'll just trigger every time you have that once set. So every minute, once every 2 minutes, so on and so forth. Now, of course, you can select an email too. So we can just use default settings or custom settings if you want. Pretty much just need to enter in your email, which needs to be set up in a different section. We don't have that done yet, so I can't really show you that. Once you have your alarm set, pretty much just click OK. And as you can see, we can see the contract, whether it's enabled, the condition, so volume equals, and then of course we put 20. Then as you can see here, we can mute alarms, we can trigger it only once, we can have the alert box pop up. There's a bunch of different options here. Just to show you what I was talking about with emails, if you do click emails, as you can see, you can enable the possibility to send emails as an alert. So we can just go ahead and pretty much just type in our email here. So my email, jake@optimusfutures.com, we'll press OK. It's added. We can remove it if we want. We can add another one. So if we close this out, let's just show you, I'll show you the editing feature. We can now go into edit. We can add email selection. We have Jake enabled. You can use custom settings if you have multiple emails. You can email them to multiple emails at one time if you have so, or you can just use default. Since that's the only email we have, it's automatically enabled. We click OK, and now we have email alerts set up for ourselves as well. If you want to go ahead and disable emails, you can either delete them from this section right here, you can disable this box, or you can go into the actual alert itself and remove your email from there. I already removed my email from the main email section, so of course it's gone now. Let's go over another email type, or another alert type, excuse me. So we'll click on add alarm. Maybe we can actually show this one working in real time. So let's do price alarm this time. We'll do ES price alert. Of course, we're gonna do the ES U19 one more time. So let's do equal to, and then let's look at the current price. We do have our quote board up right here. It looks like the current price is at around 3006.25. It automatically filled that out for us. We can have trigger repeatedly on. Again, we're not gonna have any emails for this one. Let's enable it. And hopefully it'll trigger by the time the end of this video has finished. And we'll get to show you what that looks like. There you go. It actually just triggered because the price was already pretty much right there. So just with a bit of a market fluctuation, it triggered for us because we have it equaled to that last price there. As you can see, this is the ES price alert. And you can't actually hear it, but on my speakers right now, it is actually reading this alert off for me. So that is why you might want to use this mute function if you're not either using speakers or your speakers are too loud and you only want the price box. That's an option for you. So we'll go ahead and mute this, and we can disable this box so that won't pop up for us anymore. As for other features, you can use multiple custom sounds. So you can use beeps, you can mute all if you want. You can use a custom sound, so you can actually upload an MP3 or an MP4 and you can play that. So if you have a specific sound you're looking for, you can use that. And then of course we have a show log. So this will pretty much just show us all of the alarm trigger events that have occurred based off this specific alarm or any of the alarms we have here. If you want to, you can export that to an Excel file as well. So that pretty much covers it for this video. Some of the other frames on this platform, you can customize an alert directly through there. So for example, quotes monitor, we can just right click, go to alarm. As you can see, it does show us the alarms we have associated with each contract. From here, we can pretty much just add our own alarm if we wanted to, and it will directly input the contract we have on our quote board from there. That's totally an option, but again, I always suggest going through general and setting it up through the alarm section there. Like I mentioned before, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. There's only a few different customizable alarm types, and we went over 2. Feel free to mess around with the other 2 yourself. They're pretty straightforward. If you do have questions on those, feel free to post them in the comment section below, or head over to our community forum and ask them there. The link for the forum is down in the description, so feel free to check that out. Again, thank you for watching, and we hope you found this video helpful.